All right, good evening, everyone. Going to try this again. Let's see if my audio is any better. Let's test this out. Be sure and let me know if the audio is not working well. Sounds better on my end. Let's see how it goes. I have a new mic on, so we'll just see how it goes. Thought I'd do a live edition of Weather for Weather Geeks this evening because we have some active weather pushing back into the valley. It's been a murky day today, the very definition of a washout, that is for sure. We've had rain and drizzle, and now we've got some fog to deal with, and it's just unpleasant outside. Other than the fact that it's very, very mild for early on in January. Let's take a look at my comments here. All right, sounds like the audio is doing better this time. So we will get on with it here. We had a pretty healthy drink of water today, that is for sure. About 3/4 of an inch worth of rain at the airports, getting close to that downtown. Almost an inch, Austintown, Boardman, Latonia, and Salem area, heading down towards Guilford and Lisbon as well. Amounts a little bit lower in Mercer County, somewhat lower from Kent to Alliance this afternoon, and actually it started this morning and continued this afternoon and into this evening. Here's what it looks like outside in Niles. We've got some mist and drizzle falling. It's definitely a little murkier and foggier in some parts of Mahoning County, at least in my travels on my dinner break a little while ago. It was foggy along Market Street heading back into downtown Youngstown. And again, even though the radar is a little bit quiet here locally, it's another one of those deceiving radar evenings because there's more than meets the eye here. There's mist, there's drizzle that tends to fall undetected by the radar, but I think more substantial rain is going to come back in before the evening is through. This is a pretty good looking wall of water out here from Sandusky down through Mansfield, heading down towards the northeastern suburbs of Columbus, and this is heading off to the east, and this steadier, heavier rain will work in certainly before the evening is through. I should have a pretty active radar to show you tonight on 21 News at 11. Precipitation rates, again, pretty impressive. We've got some legitimate downpours out here in north central Ohio and heading down I-71, half an inch to an inch per hour, the rate that rain is falling. So our mist and drizzle will in fact be replaced by more substantial rain as we go towards 9, 10, 11 o'clock this evening. And I mentioned the fog at the airport right now. Visibility is down to about 1/8 of a mile, and we don't have a dense fog advisory or anything like that out there, but certainly you need to be a little bit cautious due to the low visibility. Mo wants to know, am I going to tell you about the warm-up middle to the end of the month? I sure am. I'm going to talk about that. Tyler, any thunder tonight? Very small chance. I can't totally rule it out, but it's a small chance. All right, so here's our high-res futurecast model showing that steadier rain pushing through here in a couple of hours, and it'll be replaced by kind of more benign showers when most of us are sleeping at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. But the cold air wraps in tomorrow morning, and if you're an early riser, 6, 7 o'clock, I think some of us are going to start to see some snowflakes around tomorrow morning. No big deal there. Not expecting any snow accumulation tomorrow morning or really anywhere during the daylight hours for tomorrow. Jill wants to know, when is the snow coming back? No big snow events coming our way, Jill. I'll talk about the lake effect in just a second, but you could see a few snowflakes, some flurries out there first thing tomorrow morning. Check out the cold air on the march, though. These are the 24-hour temperature change numbers from Dallas to Minneapolis. 25 degrees colder than this time yesterday. That Arctic air is heading our way, and what a dramatic change it is going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow morning as you get up, the air temperature will be about as warm as it will be all day long, with air temperatures close to freezing, or 30. The wind picking up. Wind chills close to 20, but that's first thing in the morning. As we get into the afternoon tomorrow, not sure why some of my numbers aren't showing up here, but I think wind chills tomorrow afternoon will be no better than the lower, if maybe middle teens. So we're talking about, a pretty dramatic change considering it's been in the mid-40s all day today. Penny wants to know, is it going to be icy in the morning for the school bus? No, I don't think so. Temperatures tomorrow morning near freezing, but I think that kind of, after some light rain in the pre-dawn hours, temperatures near freezing, I don't think there'll be too many ice issues tomorrow morning. It's not like going from rain to 25 degrees in a couple of hours. This is rain and then 32, and I think it'll be generally fine. But nonetheless, the wind chill's getting pretty nasty tomorrow afternoon, and then by Thursday morning, and again, I apologize, I'm not sure why some of the numbers aren't showing up on the map here, but Thursday morning, wind chill's close to 0. With air temperatures, that's not right either. This graphic is not behaving. The wind chills look correct, but the air temperature Thursday morning, there we go, will be down in the mid-teens. Sometimes you just got to kick the computer a couple of times to get it going. So yeah, big changes. Winter making a ferocious comeback here over the next couple of days. All right, tomorrow morning a few flurries around. Otherwise, a pretty benign day in terms of any precipitation tomorrow. As we get into tomorrow evening, some of this lake effect will drift just far enough south that around the Route 87 corridor, northern Trumbull, maybe northern parts of Mercer as well, you can get in on some of this lake effect. This is tomorrow evening. Lasts a few hours and then kind of retreats back to the north. Mostly this is going to be a lake effect event for Ashtabula County, parts of Geauga and Lake counties, Erie County, Crawford County, PA, and then Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties in southwest New York. Melissa, I just talked about the wind chills. We'll have wind chills close to 0 Thursday morning, but not far below 0. We're not going to have the kind of wind chills coming up that are going to cause any sort of school adjustments. At least not Thursday morning. Friday morning, it might be a close call, but I think it's less windy Friday morning. But nonetheless, on the subject of snow, as we go into the day Thursday, it's interesting, this particular model, not particularly impressed on Thursday. Some of the other modeling tries to bring in a little weak wave of low pressure Thursday afternoon that might try to give us up to an inch of snow, a half an inch to an inch, Thursday afternoon into parts of Thursday night. Don't think it's any more than that, but I guess I wouldn't be shocked if we got a fluffy inch out of that. There's not much moisture, but with air this cold, we're talking about very high liquid to snow ratios, so it won't take but a little bit of moisture to get a half an inch to an inch worth of snow Thursday afternoon into parts of Thursday night, and then Friday looks pretty benign. Again, the lake effect continues just south of Buffalo over to Erie up to Ashtabula, but for our viewing area, I don't think it's a big deal. Here's the snow map for the lake effect for Wednesday and Thursday. Again, there'll be a half a foot or more around Erie and heading up towards Jamestown. But in our viewing area, nothing accumulates south of Route 87, it looks like. Amanda's asking about Niles. No snow accumulation there. Once you're up towards maybe Cortland, you could see a coating to an inch. But really from Mespo to Bristol to Kinsman to Greenville, that's the zone you might try to pick up an inch or two tomorrow evening as some of those lake effect bands wobble south. But that's about as far south as it looks like they will get. So again, it's going to get real cold at the end of this week. High temperatures at the end of the week and into the weekend, no better than about 20 or 21. But it won't be accompanied by any sort of big storms. This cold will be a dry cold for the most part. Aside from, again, the little bit of lake effect I talked about, some flurries around tomorrow morning, I don't think snow's a big story here through the upcoming weekend. But sustained cold is a story. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're going to be hard-pressed to get above 20. And overnight lows will be close to 10 degrees. But if you're not a fan of that kind of cold, and I know I'm not, there is some good news, and I've been talking about this so far this week. In the longer range, starting middle of next week, we're going to start to get into a milder pattern. And this is a pretty significant looking January thaw, I think, that starts next week and may continue for quite some time. So we're going to snap out of the cold next week and go maybe 10 degrees above average. That means highs in the 40s for a couple of days, middle of next week. And again, if you like snow, if you're a fan of snow, if your business depends on snow, depends on wintry weather, you may not be that happy with me for a lot of the middle and latter portions of January. Not to say it can't snow, it just is not a pattern that's going to be conducive to seeing snowstorms, to seeing lake effect certainly, because we're going to see a lot of milder than average air starting next week, and maybe that pattern continues all the way through the end of January. Any cold during that period might be pretty brief, a day or two here and there, but overall a mild pattern. Here's that January forecast I put out yesterday, calling for above average temperatures for January as a whole. Again, it can get cold occasionally, like it's going to do at the end of this week, but overall January should come out in the wash as a warmer than average month, unlike December, which was actually a little bit colder than average. So again, not looking real optimistic for snow and cold starting next week and maybe taking us through just about the end of the month. Now, I do think February will see a return to colder and snowier weather, but I think we're in for a long break from harsh winter weather starting next week. And before I go this evening, just a real quick recap of the rain. It's drizzling and it's foggy out right now, but we've got some downpours out towards Mansfield and Sandusky, heading into Cleveland soon, and it's going to rain pretty hard, it looks like, across parts of the Mahoning and Shenango valleys later on this evening, adding to our already pretty impressive rainfall totals. Some of us have had an inch worth of rain since this morning, and some of us could end up with an inch and a quarter, inch and a third before all is said and done. So again, if your car's sitting out, you can continue to wash the salt off. It's actually good news for the roads, getting some of that salt off the roads. But tomorrow, much different story. Wind chills by tomorrow afternoon in the teens. All right, thanks for checking in on a live edition of Weather for Weather Geeks, everyone. Appreciate you watching as we roll into the new year. I'll be doing these videos live more often when there's active weather around. Otherwise, I will probably record them as usual most evenings, and usually this video gets online by about 8 o'clock in the evening. Hope you have a great rest of this Tuesday night, and look for another edition of this video Wednesday evening, and I hope you'll catch me tonight on 21 News at 11 o'clock.